Y'all, welcome to another episode of the Breaking Into Tech Sales podcast. Today, we have one of my clients who just landed an amazing job, 100K fully remote in just 57 days, Tony. Tony comes from an insurance background. He was doing life insurance, running an insurance team actually as a manager, and he was crushing it, but it was inconsistent. And if you've been in these kind of high commission, full commission roles, you know the volatility is real. And so he wanted to do something different. He wanted to get into tech sales, and he crushed it. 100K role, and he's at an amazing company. So excited to have him here to share a little bit about his journey. He touches on some things that he was frankly afraid of, like one, can he trust a guy on Instagram that's selling another course? We all know there's some sketch balls out there, but two, he didn't even know if this was gonna work for him. And he took that leap of faith, and it's because of that he's here to share all about it. So look, if you need help breaking into tech sales, I do one-on-one coaching. There's a link below that you can click to find some time with my team. We'll see if you're a good fit for what we do or not. And if you're not, I've still got good resources for you. And if you're not even in a position yet where you're ready to go into one-on-one coaching, I've made a completely free guide that shows you step by step how to do the job to get the job. And it's a lot of what I teach my clients. And if you actually go implement that, then you will start to land interviews and potentially land some great offers. So that link is down below as well. It's completely free to sign up. And either way, I'll be reaching out to you to make sure that you're set up for success. Enjoy this episode. And hit us up if we can help you out. What's up, y'all? I've got some good news for you today. We've got Tony in the house, and this man landed a 100K fully remote role in just 57 days, coming from life insurance into tech sales. And he's here to tell us all about his experience in Sword. Tony, what's up, man?
How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm so good. You just kind of gave me the rundown. You're in your first week and it's going really well. So I'm doing really good now, knowing that you're at a great company, man.
Yeah. So it was obviously it's a jump. People are going to be very unsure to make, but like a lot of people, I was in life insurance. Some people might be in very similar industries. They're more of the cutthroat style. And like a lot of people just started to get kind of stagnant and wondering what else I could hop to, what would be better. And that's kind of when I came across tech sales and came across you, Jack. And I noticed I was always kind of one of those people where when I see people pushing courses or these things, I like immediately dismiss it. But the more I looked into tech and the more I looked into Jack, and kind of people like where I am now after going through all of this, I realized it was something I should move towards. And you, Jack, are very honest and clear with what the process is like. A lot of people, I feel like, kind of sell a dream where, once you get this, it's like an automatic skip the work kind of thing. You make it very clear that it's not. I still have to do a bunch of work, be on top of it, spend a lot of time every single day, to be able to land something and get traction with this stuff. However, it is all extremely worth it. And Jack is there every single step of the way. You could reach out to him any second. He's there for, exactly what you need. And that's why, for me, it took me 57 days. In hindsight, I know I could have cut that time in half, and a lot of you guys could as well. I just extremely happy that I ended up taking the leap and got myself.
Let's go, dude. Let's go. They're going to think I paid you to say all that. So
but
you can't buy Tony. You can't buy him. Unless you got 100K in a fully remote tech sales job, I guess. Then you get Tony on your team. Dude, so break down for us, like, life before Sword. You're in this life insurance role. How much money were you averaging in that? And why wasn't that like the right career path for you?
Yeah, so that was a big reason why I started to look to other things. I mean, I'm not going to lie. The job that I was working before in life insurance was 100% commission, no base, no benefits, anything like that. So, if you're not putting out, you're not getting paid. And in the beginning, there were years I made, 100K, like there was like this job. But that's kind of luck of the draw. You're there at the right time, the right place, and they don't last forever. So then you go into times where your income's cut in half or cut in a quarter. There could be months on end where you're not really making money. And by the time you really average everything out, for the amount of work you're putting in, you're really not making that much money. And on top of that, your stress is 5x in a role like that. And I always thought when I joined, that people always talk about burnout. I'm like, it's okay. I have the discipline. I'll just push through the burnout. It catches up to everybody eventually, and it's just not sustainable. So at one point or another, you got to make a switch, and that's what ended up leading me here.
Okay.
And
okay. So what seemed better about tech sales then? I mean, maybe the base pay, guaranteed income, like what else?
Yeah, so most of these roles are fully remote. So that was I kind of worked luckily remote before too, but most people don't really have that luxury. Anyone can get a remote role in tech sales. Most of them are. Obviously, you have that base salary, and for an entry level tech position, you get very strong base salaries as well. And then the biggest thing for me was the stress reliever. In life insurance or any of these other types of roles like that, the stress is at max level 24/7. With these tech roles, you have like massive weight lifted off of your shoulder with that, and it's just going to make your day-to-day life 10 times easier.
Yeah, and I imagine that's because you can truly punch in like 9 to 5, and outside of that, like go be a human being, like go work out, go sleep, and even during the day, because you're remote, you can kind of flex in and out throughout the day. I mean, you're in your first week, so I imagine onboarding's intense, but you get more autonomy the better you get at the role.
Yeah, I mean, I even seen the BDR team I'm a part of. Some of the guys will just hop off at noon and go to the gym for an hour and come back at 1 o'clock and then continue their work. Like you said, you kind of have more of an expected 9 to 5 kind of thing. But if you're good and your numbers are good, you can kind of make that whenever you want. Hop off at 3 o'clock or whatever it may be.
100%. So for you coming into tech sales kind of blind, like I know you did some research, but did you have any fears or concerns with transitioning? And if you did, how do you think we handled that within the SWORD coaching program?
Yeah, so a big fear I had was just jumping complete different industry. All I knew was life insurance. And I thought, I do have sales experience. However, I know nothing about tech. And I thought, at face value, it seemed like one of those things, you need to go to school for this and that. But with the help of you and having discipline is something you can very easily learn and self-teach. So honestly, after 1 week of working with you, I gained that confidence back of realizing like, okay, I can do this. And then I even thought about at that point, especially even someone, like I even started thinking of some of my buddies, people that don't have sales experience, I don't think should shy away from it either, because as long as you're willing to put in the effort and learn, it's something anyone can do as long as you're working.
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. There's like virtually no barrier to entry. I guess the 2 barriers to entry, one is you need to work your freaking butt off. Like if you don't have good work ethic, sales isn't for you in general, but definitely not tech sales.
Yeah.
The only other barrier to entry is like you need decent communication skills, right? Because you're going to be talking to people all day. You're going to be on camera and stuff like that. But outside of that, man, you don't need college. You don't need sales experience. You don't need to be the smartest dude in the room. Like if I did it, I mean, come on, anyone can do it. It's a really cool field for that.
Yeah, the one of the things I was worried about is, when you might think about it when you get to your interviews, like, they're going to be interviewing people with experience in tech, and they've maybe already had a job like this for 2 years. Why would somebody pick me over them? And then as I started, that was honestly one of the bigger fears of mine. And once you start interviewing, you quickly realize, as long as you do a lot of the things you line out for us, you can very easily stand out from those people. And then once you stand out and, you're sticking through an interview process, just continue putting in the work throughout it. And you start to realize you very easily are going to be getting into final interviews and offers. Yeah. So that was one thing that after a couple weeks of being in the program, I realized I don't really have to worry about.
Huge. So you kind of mentioned this in the beginning about how we got connected. I was some random face on your Instagram feed talking about some course, just one more guy pitching you the dream. I'm just curious, like, why ultimately did you go with SWORD? Because again, I was a stranger to you at one point. Why SWORD?
Yeah, so That's a perfect question. When I started the rabbit hole, I mean, you go on Reddit threads, you see 100 different people saying 100 different things, and then you find dozens and dozens of people's with all different types of courses. The reason I gravitated towards you is you were very transparent. You're a man of faith, and that's something I cling to immediately. Um, as soon as I started diving into your stuff, like your YouTube videos, things like that, I could, even though I didn't know you, through you and through your faith, I could tell you were genuine. And because of that, I said, if I'm doing this with anybody, it's going to be through you. And I'm glad that's the choice I made. I feel like God kind of pushed me in that direction in a way. It was weird. As soon as I seen you and saw your stuff, it was like an automatic click for me. And everything just seemed very genuine, and it was.
Oh, I love that, man. I appreciate that perspective. And I know there's guys out there that, will misuse faith for different things. And so just to get to walk through this with you over the last, 57 days, it's been fun, and it's been cool getting to know you too on that level. So what would you tell the guy on the fence then, who's like, maybe they had a call with me, with my team. They're like, dude, it's a big investment. What if it doesn't work for me? It's a big time investment, finances aside. Like, what do you tell that dude who thinks he wants to do this, but he's on the fence?
I would tell him jump. For me, I was on the fence for a while, looking at things on my own time back and forth before I even ever reached out to you. And the only thing I wish is that I had done it sooner, because it paid off extremely. I would tell them to, especially if there's someone with faith, put their faith in you like they do in God, and it'll go very smoothly for them. I would say jump if you're on the fence.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the decision was probably never comfortable for you, right? It was still uncomfortable.
No, it's never good.
But you just have to lay out plainly, what's my current situation? How uncomfortable is that compared to the fear of maybe a better situation? And that's the math you got to do. So working with me one-on-one, give people a sense for what that's like. Maybe is there anything that stuck out to you about my coaching style? Anything that was a favorite for you, or you felt like, wow, I'm really glad we have this dynamic?
Yeah, there were a couple things that stuck out. I would say the one that stuck out the most is, I kind of mentioned in the beginning how I could have cut those 57 days in half. That was on me. I was procrastinating a lot in the beginning, getting a lot of this stuff done and really putting the time in. And whereas most people on your end of things would probably just let that go on, and we could have been at 100 days, 150 days. As soon as you noticed that, you stepped in and said, hey, where we at? Let's start doing XYZ daily, and kind of get an even tighter plan in place, so that I don't even have the ability to do that in a way. It helped me put it into high gear as well. So that stuck out to me a lot, which was extremely helpful. That's what helped me land this job quickly, right after you did that. And then I would say just being able, I worried that I would join this and I get confused or need something, and then, I have to wait, 3 days before I get something, or just get some generic response, stuff like that. I feel like a lot of people are going to worry about that, and I did. However, it was extremely easing when I needed something, and even sometimes it'd be a Sunday night when probably not a good time to reach out to you. It was like you were waiting for me to send you something. You responded with a voice memo right away, told me exactly what I need to do, prepared it for me the next morning. I mean, I would ask you for something, and then the next morning it would be done, and you'd be ready for me, and I'd be the one late. So just being able to have you 100% at all times was extremely helpful.
So it sounds like kind of the mix of accountability, hey, this is where we are, this is where we need to lock in, but coupled with the support of yo, I'm in this with you, let's go. That's what really pushed you forward and gave you the support you need.
Yeah. Another thing was that I worried about, and I got put at ease at, is I was very worried it was going to be the one-on-one aspect wasn't going to be there. I know with a lot of things like this, they kind of treat it more as like a group thing, and you really can't get that one-on-one or that help that you need. Whereas with you, the way I felt, it was like I was the only one in the program, which was extremely, extremely helpful. So the one-on-one was
It's awesome, man. Cool. Well, I appreciate you sharing that insight and those kind words. Two more questions for you. So one is more for you personally. I mean, you landed an amazing role, right? 57 days, 100K role, and it sounds like you're loving the team over there. Aside
Yeah,
from that, what are you most proud of accomplishing in this process?
that's a good question. I would say, it's a good question. Most proud, I would say, is honest. For me personally, there's a lot of things someone could be proud with in this process. For me personally, I would say is honestly making the first jump, because things like this, I've never signed up for anything. I'm always the first one to turn away and be like, yeah, no, that's nothing serious. So that is something that I never do, and that's something I always critique and put off. So just making the initial jump for me is something I never do for stuff like this. So that's what I'm most proud about, because without that, none of this would have
That's
fallen.
valid, man. I always tell new clients, I'm like, dude, congrats. Like you just did probably the hardest part. Like there's hard parts coming up. It's not going to be easy, but you did the hardest part, which is you committed. You went all in on
Yeah,
yourself. Like honestly, at this point, man, I've been doing this so long. There's so many videos out there. Like the question is more, are you going to bet on yourself that you're actually going to go
yeah,
follow through and be a disciple of this process and commit to it? And yeah, I would be proud of that too, because had you not, I mean, who knows, but where you'd be right now.
of course. Yeah, I think that there's always you're always going to be able to find a reason why you shouldn't do it. Then it's all of this, or this is the way my current job is going, or whatever the case is. If you could just throw those out of your mind and commit, I would say that's the hardest mental part and the most important. So,
Okay, so then what's your advice for others who are still trying to break into tech sales? Like what's something maybe specific you learned in Sword that would actually help them go land a job?
the the way you help us to stand out. So there's a lot of these jobs. I mean, they're in high demand. They're good jobs, especially with the barrier to entry. There's tons of people applying to them. So you have, if you're one of those people where you think you're just going to send out some applications, you'll be doing this for 2 years. So you have to be able to set yourself apart in the most and in the best ways possible. And I never really had to do a job search in the way I did for this. And that is a valuable, the way we did it is such a valuable piece of information that I'm going to be able to use for life, for the rest of the job interviews. Now I feel confident when I go up and become an AE or whatever the case is, that I know the exact process I got to use. I know if there's 1,000 people applying, I know right off the bat I'm going to be in the top 5 every single time, just because of the things we apply.
That's massive, man. I love hearing that because it's so true that this process and interviewing is a skill. It's a skill set and you can learn it. And once you learn it, you carry it with you for your career. And it never changes.
Yeah,
Like if you were ever going to go be the VP of sales at a company, like do not just put your application in. Like you need to go do the job and send over reporting
yep.
and send over strategy and all the things that we've done. So yeah, man, you're gonna crush this industry. I just know it. You've got everything it takes to do so well, and you prove that in this process. But yeah, I'm excited for you, man. You're awesome. It was so fun working with you, and
Thank you very much.
yeah, I'm proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you for doing this.
Appreciate it. Couldn't have done it without you.
One team, man. One team. Any parting words? Anything else you want to share with the people that are going to be listening to this?
Um, I would say the one thing I've kept thinking about this week is, before I joined, I was very heavily thinking about just doing this myself and going and landing a tech job myself. After doing this, I know 100% had I done that, it would have taken me a year at least, if I even landed something. So even if you can do it, the efficiency aspect is huge. So that's the thing I like to leave everyone with.
All right. And I didn't pay you to say any of this, right?
No, yeah. But I might sound like an ass for
Oh
this
my
guy, but I
gosh.
promise you guys, I'm the first one to be skeptical about anything like this. But I couldn't be more glad.
Yeah, his name's Tony. Come on. He's no joke.